What's good with y'all, man? So tell me this, man. Have y'all heard about the Lindsay Clancy case? I know y'all heard about this, man. The Lindsay Clancy case. All right, so I've been doing a little bit of my own research, man. And this one, it's first and foremost, it's a sad one. Unfortunately, this case involves the unfortunate demise. Excuse me. It follows the unfortunate demise of three very, very young children. And honestly, anytime you read stories like these, it always, at least for me, hits home a little harder than others. We're talking about the Lindsay Clancy case. Kind of give you a little bit of background. Lindsay Clancy, she's a 36-year-old former labor and delivery nurse from Duxbury, Massachusetts. She's currently on trial for the first degree murder of her three children. Even reading that's uncomfortable. She has Cora, which is 5, Dawson, 3 years old, and Callan, 8 months. All passed away January 24th, 2023, in their home. So she's currently pleaded not guilty. The main premise right now that they're arguing is she was suffering from severe postpartum psychosis and possibly undiagnosed bipolar disorder all the time she allegedly committed these heinous acts. So basically, if they obviously win this argument, this would negate her of criminal responsibility. It says here prosecutors counter that she planned and carried out the killings with full awareness of her actions. Yeah, man, this story is super unfortunate. I was looking up a little bit about the whole severe postpartum mental illness and psychiatric disorder. That's what they're trying to argue that she was suffering with. And I don't know how that really works out. How does it really work out when you're bringing into question the mental state of someone that's committed like a crime? What are the depths and parameters that it even makes sense? So there's definitely a ton of questions there. So super sad story, man. I kind of seen a little bit about this on TV at first, and then I decided, man, well, why not? Let's try to find out a little bit about what's going on here. They got this website called lindsayclancy.net that basically breaks down a timeline from when these tragedies took place to now. And what I've gathered so far, if I'm being completely honest, without knowing too much about this case and everything like that, is that no one's looking at the husband as a potential suspect. I don't believe they're considering him as a potential suspect at all. Which is crazy because if you really dive into it and look at everything that she did that evening, like this lady ended up paralyzed as well. And it said even like one source even said like it said she slit her throat and jumped out a window and apparently took a bunch of drugs. That's a lot going on, man. So she apparently woke up to the aftermath of all of this by her husband. She woke up, was paralyzed, slit throat, and probably, yeah, being rushed to a hospital, I'm sure. But not to bring this guy into question at all is crazy work, if you ask me. Yeah, so there's a lot going on with this story. All of this started back in January 2023. And apparently this dude is already remarried with a new wife and everything. I still think it's interesting and calls into question the husband. The fact that it seems that they're just discounting or discrediting maybe all of the potential possibilities, like his role played here. There's a lot that can happen.
Clancy story, or I'm sure you're following this really close.
Vinny hasn't slept in 4 days.
You have no, Pat, when I bring it up, and John, I know you have some stuff to say about it, people are mad. Like, you don't know, and she's this, and it was the husband. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Let's go through some of this stuff, because Candace also commented on this. I want to play that clip as well, and I want to get some of your thoughts on where people are at with this. So, to do a quick recap, she asks her husband to leave. He leaves one by one with a gym. What do you call it?
Well, workout band.
Workout band,
yeah.
She ends up killing her 8-month-old, her 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old. If I'm getting it wrong, correct me there. And then she was on a bunch of SSRIs medication prior to that. Even went to a mental hospital. Then they released her saying she's okay.
Yeah.
She's going to be fine. And yes, she's got some stuff.
SSRIs. What are those? Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Whoa. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Are a class of antidepressants commonly prescribed to treat depression and anxiety disorders, but they can have potential side effects.
But she's dealing with, but she's going to be okay. They let her go. Then she comes back. This happens. Now people are protesting. Women are protesting outside saying it's not her fault.
And she tried to kill herself. Like when the husband walked in, Pat, neck slit. She tried to kill herself.
She jumped off her house. She's paralyzed.
She tried to jump out the second story of her house, and so they're filming themselves hanging out of windows too, to stand in solidarity.
So let's play some of the clips. And I want to come to you guys. So here's one. I'm going to play 3 or 4 clips. So this is one of the clips. Go for it. What's going on here? These are people supporting her.
Thousands of women that are
supporting her.
Supporting her, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right outside.
Yo, is that crazy or what? Thousands of women lined up. Gathered in solidarity to show support. We're cooked.
So they're supporting her to say it's not her fault, and she kind of went through it. Okay, can we go to
that one
of the clips of somebody that's describing what happens and why it's not her fault? You know, one of the clips. Go ahead.
I feel like the system failed her.
The system failed her.
She was begging for help, but no one was there. I don't know if us being here will make her feel any better, but I mean, she's living in hell right now.
Just wanted to support Lindsay and just say it could be, one of my sister-in-laws, it could be one of my best friends, and it could be me. So just here to support.
We are hearing her.
We
see that
you're
she
capable of killing
everything.
3 kids.
And I really do believe that she went into a state of psychosis.
Clancy's supporters call her attorney Kevin Reddington a champion of women's rights. Is she aware of this support, and what does she think of this support?
I'm going to go in and see her right now. I'm sure that she is, and if she isn't, she will be.
What do you think about?
She's so beat up and just so sad. But this will really help her out, I think.
Tell her we love her. The crowd of about 200 to 300 people lined the road as Lindsay Clancy was brought into the courthouse.
Okay, so
I hope.
Can you pause it? And then I think you guys sent a clip from Candace. If you want to play that as well. And here's Candace's position. Go for it.
I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that she was arrested, the moment that it made the news. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they put her on. I regularly speak out against Big Pharma. They get away with murder all the time. And in this case, they are getting away with the murder of really her 3 children, but also completely destroyed her life. When Lindsay Clancy, in my opinion, is not guilty. She was put into an intentional psychosis when she probably just needed.
Where is the accountability? Come on, guys. You always have a chance to say no. For one, don't get me wrong. If your willpower or your resourcefulness or creativity, whatever it is, if your will, if your grit, and depends on what you're going through, is not strong enough to find alternative measures for your healing, and then you decide to lean on the guidance of the establishment, you're still culpable. You can always say no. Plus, I'm sure there's like clause after clause that protects them from their engagement with you, as far as any outcomes that happen to you. I don't know what you sign when you go into the hospital or what you do when you deal with a doctor, but I know at the end of the day, you basically waiving all your rights. So, but there's still got to be accountability. Those people didn't directly commit those acts. It just is what it is. To say because you took prescribed drugs that your doctor prescribed you on, because you follow said protocol in all of the actions that you commit after the fact, are at the hands or the fault of somebody else, doesn't make sense. It's not proper math.
To give her kids away for a weekend to get better, but they constantly give you these drugs that do not make things better. And the cocktail of 10 pharmaceuticals that she was on is absolute madness. Absolute madness. I
so
made
you
my
can
thoughts
pause that
clear.
and then go to the last one with this lady.
She still had a choice. That's what it comes down to. She still had a choice. Can't blame a doctor. Can't blame anybody.
Then we'll get into it. Go for it. The one that you guys are telling me you want to show. I haven't seen this one. So, no, the one you just texted me. The one you just texted me.
That's her on the bottom, right?
Guys, this one you just texted me to say this is the one you want to play. Is that the one or is it a different one?
In January of 2023, Lindsay
Go ahead.
Clancy, a Massachusetts mother of 3, strangled her 3 kids to death in her basement with exercise bands. They were 5, 3, and 8 months old. Her trial is this week. She's being charged with first-degree murder, and the question is whether or not she was undergoing a psychotic episode.
I get what you're saying. You can pause it right here. So, John, where's your position out with this? So, on one end, a lot of these women that are following saying it's not her fault, it's the doctor's fault. They medicated her. We're trying to find a solution for this. And then some are saying, wait a minute, she just killed her 3 kids. What do you mean it's not her fault? What's your position?
Yeah, I don't know if this has been your guys' experience, but in my experience, I tend to find that women struggle with accountability sometimes. And so I think that, it makes sense that they would all want to take to the streets and say that they sympathize with her because they could see themselves doing that, which if you're a mother, that's kind of a disturbing thing to say if you have children, putting that idea into their mind that like you perhaps could have had a bad day and killed them. But I think she's obviously guilty. I think that everything people are trying to do here is absolve her of guilt by saying it's the system's fault, which the subtext of that is it's like the male-dominated system or something. All of the doctors who wrote her those prescriptions were female doctors. She was also doctor shopping specifically for medications. Like
the doctors that gave it to her were female doctors?
Yeah, she was. So not only she was going out of her way to get these medications, and then she was also getting them, I believe, from, if not all, like primarily female doctors. And people who are in psychosis, you can see body cam footage of this. They try to fight police officers. If she were actually in like a psychotic episode, she would have not waited for her husband to leave. She wouldn't have commanded him to leave. She would have tried to take on her entire family. And then also, too, you mentioned she tried to commit suicide. I don't know if I buy that. I think that maybe she murdered her 3 children and then she got into a situation where she realized what she had done and she felt remorse because the cuts that she'd made on herself had stopped bleeding by the time the husband came back. The way that she had like cut her neck wasn't like that bad. And even the medication she took was found to be at like sustainable levels in her system. So her attempt to cut herself and her attempt to overdose on drugs doesn't seem to be indicative of someone who clearly is able to take life. It seemed like she was kind of doing a half measure or something, perhaps to justify this. I was just psychotic. I didn't mean to, because she knew at that point that was her only legal defense.
Vinny.
So, okay, and I agree with John to a certain extent, and I want everybody to understand this, and we all know this. Mental illness is real. And I'm not a woman, so I don't know, but postpartum psychosis, depression, all that is real. And mothers who are suffering, they obviously deserve compassion, treatment, and help. But compassion, and you know how we are about accountability, cannot mean you abandon that. You cannot abandon accountability. And this is what bothers me, Pat, about the whole situation. Her defense says postpartum psychosis explains how a loving mother could strangle 3 of her children. But guess what? Millions and millions of people around the world suffer from mental illness. Millions hear voices. They have horrific thoughts. They never murder anyone. Okay, and they're on all types.
Yeah, bruv. I just gotta say, man, look, there's no way you're coming back from this one, man. You murked all 3 of your kids. It's too late. You're gonna go somewhere. She's gonna stay in a mental hospital for the rest of her days, the rest of her life, the rest of her days. She's gonna stay in a mental hospital or a prison somewhere. Whoever's responsible, they need to just go away. Absolutely. This is just horrible.
Types of drugs, okay? Mental illness cannot automatically erase your moral responsibility. And Pat, in our search to find out Lindsay and what happened and this or that, you know who we can't forget about, are those 3 kids, okay? That's who you do. Stop all this nonsense. Cora, Dawson, and Callan, okay? For 4 minutes, she's strangling one, and the other ones are sitting there watching mommy. I understand all the guys, I get it. And we have friends here that have wives and they've been through it and they have family members. Do not forget about these 3 freaking kids that had the worst last moments on this earth in their life, okay? They should be alive. They should be able to grow up, go to school, fall in love, and have families of their own, okay? Those lives matter, all right? So we can have compassion for this mental illness without excusing evil. We can show mercy without abandoning justice. And whatever explanation ultimately comes out in this courtroom, okay, it should never erase what happened to these 3 innocent children. Put all that nonsense aside. God rest their souls, because I know where they are right now, but don't forget about them. That's what I have to say about that.
Amen to that. I don't need to say anything more than that. Just the prayers to the grandparents, the friends, the family, the other little kids that are at school that went to classes, went to kindergarten with the older one, and he's not there anymore, and they got to explain that to these little kids of what happened to their little friends. Yeah, Vinny, God bless you. Amen. There are 3 things going on here, and all 3 of them, are of deep concern. Number 1, postpartum is real, and the people that are out there trying to raise attention for postpartum so it can be treated properly are out there using this as a flag.
I actually want to second that. Yeah, this is certainly the grand topic of discussion for this entire trial. Her severe postpartum psychosis. I definitely have deeper questions on, maybe not why all of a sudden raise attention to this, but I hope in raising attention to this topic, there's a more positive outcome. I hope it's not for nothing, basically. I hope there's a positive outcome because, mental health definitely is real. And I've actually, in my real life, have experienced or know someone that was dealing with postpartum depression, or whatever you want to call it. But seriously, sad outcome. Super sad outcome. Super sad outcome. Very, very sad.
Second thing, SSRIs and the pharmaceutical industry that is out there that wants to invent new drugs, for profit. That's what they do. They're out there, and there's a group out there saying, wait a minute, the pharmaceutical industry, the SSRIs and the cocktails are being inappropriately, prescribed, and it's creating problems here. There's that camp. And then there's the camp that is like, was she competent to stand trial or not? or was she insane? We go through an immense amount of testing in this country before we grant the insanity defense. And so, was she insane or was she not insane? Is she capable of standing trial? If she's capable of standing trial, she's accountable. But the other two camps, I believe that the postpartum people mean well, and they're trying to raise awareness for it, but they're using this case as a flag. See, we told you. And then you have the people over there that are, the doctors should be in prison. And by the way, that's the Candace camp. The Candace camp is, look at what these physicians were prescribing, look at the drugs they're using, look at the cocktail that's out there, the doctors should be in prison. That's their camp. And so this has become this big lasagna, Pat, where everything's kind of mixed together. It's, is she insane or not? Do you believe postpartum? Yes. Do you got to get treatment and you got to get investment for that to help? And then is the cocktail being inappropriately administered?
Adam.
On this, she has a point. With this cocktail of drugs, this lady was on Klonopin, Azodipin, Adonabin, Xanax, and the doctors are prescribing this? And knowing that she is on all these pills, what could go wrong with a person who's clinically depressed or has psychosis with all these pills? What could possibly happen? Well, we found out what happened. 3 of her kids are dead. So the doctors are going to have some accountability here.
Yeah.
That's where I'll agree with that. Now, here's where I'll land this plane. Do I think that she's going to be convicted of first-degree murder? I don't think so. Will it be manslaughter or kid slaughter? I think so.
But Adam, that mental, and I'm so sorry, but that mental illness, you can't erase what she did, Adam. And those, this is all I'm gonna say for the last time. Imagine being 8 months.
Yeah, I'm on Vinny's side on this one, man. I understand the doctors prescribe the drugs. I get it. I completely get it. But there ain't no way you can convince me that someone else is responsible for whatever happened to those children besides anyone directly involved. Ain't no way.
3 years old and 5. I don't know the order of how she killed them. And you're watching mommy. I don't care.
I'm with
you're
you.
Killing.
I'm with you a million percent.
And so accountability, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many people out there that are batshit crazy every day that hear stuff. They don't go through with it.
I'll ask you one simple question.
Yeah.
And I think it's something this Pat would do. What percentage do you think this was her willfully doing this, and what percentage was it the drugs?
I think it was
Give me a
like
percentage.
he said the greatest cocktail. I don't know percentage.
But just in your opinion, this is all just opinion.
Say one more
What
time.
percentage was her doing it? What percentage was caused because of taking the drugs?
70-30. She's
the one that did it.
Postpartum
I'm
depression.
with him. I'm with
70-30.
So you think it's mostly her?
Yes.
Mostly the depression.
And then 30% the drugs.
Yeah.
I see it kind of inversely.
I don't know, man. I might have to disagree on that one. Buddy is remarried. I think he has another child on the way. So, awkward. I don't know if he's really too concerned. 3 years later? 3 years later is pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. That's, for something as tragic as this to happen, wow.
He is dealing with something like this. Imagine it's like, why did I leave? He's gonna, by the way, he's gonna replay that for the rest of his life.
And I'm not even putting this out there. There's a chance he might be on suicide watch right now. Are you kidding me? Your entire life was evaporated in a 20-minute run to the convenience store.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you get issues like this that happen, you have to be very careful to not put the onus on the individual, because if you don't put the onus on the individual, other people will look at this and be inspired to say, well, I did it and it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I don't think they know. Yeah, this guy's probably not on suicide watch at all. He's actually remarried with other kids. Let's see. I don't know this guy's name. What's his name? Patrick. Anyway, this dude's remarried. I'm sure he's not on suicide watch. It's pretty fine. Probably chilling too. Yeah, but anyway, I thought that was a crazy story. I want to highlight some interesting points of that story. Crazy world we live in, man. Crazy world. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Be mindful, man. Be mindful of these decisions you make that deal with other people. Sensitive creatures, man. Dangerous creatures. Wild. So, again, stay in your P's and Q's. I'm gonna let you guys in the next one. Peace.